So let's go ahead and start off with getting our hunger rolls in tonight. I do believe that we have Cade with 2 hunger at the moment.
Yes.
Um, Carter, I believe, should have 1.
Yep.
Um, and then Darby should also be at 1.
Ha. Oh, I got hungrier.
So that would mean that you are at a
3.
you're at a 3.
I need to eat.
Oh fuck me! I'm at 2.
All right. So last night you guys stole from the museum. How are you all feeling about that?
Enjoying the
Cade is-
success. Risk paid off.
Cade
Um,
doesn't feel very good about it, since he feels that college is a bit of his territory after a fashion. But he does find the object interesting enough that that's good enough reason. Plus, he wouldn't want anybody messing around with it and doing something stupid.
Yeah.
You know, I think things locked up in a museum, it just, it should be out where we can see it and enjoy it in the real world, where it is now. We freed it.
Locked away, protected.
It was locked away, and now it is free. I don't see a problem with that. We get to find out what it is.
Did you all decide that you were going to meet up the next night to discuss the item itself?
Did we?
We didn't make any concrete plans, but that seemed logical.
Okay. Where do you think you guys would meet up?
Perhaps
Well,
it's
Probably somewhere in the college. It's not too uncommon for having any and anybody wandering around at all times of night. Nothing seems suspicious.
I go wherever you go, Cade.
I'll tell you to meet up at the college. Sure, I'll send a text message to our friend Carter.
That worked for me.
And thinking like an out of the way meeting hall that probably would be in use at this time of night.
Okay. Okay. The college is actually a really good place you could go because if you needed anything, if you needed a lab or if you needed any kind of equipment, you could probably use what's at the college.
Yes. And to be honest, I might want to go get some sustenance before this meeting.
Probably not a bad idea.
I do have a herd.
Okay. Do you want to take advantage of your herd?
I think tonight I will take advantage of my herd. I have 2 dots in herd. So I should be able to at least sate 1, if not 2. Admittedly, that is one thing I forgot to do is get the develop names of my herd members. Should probably do that.
Well, it looks like they're probably junior members of the Horizon Initiative.
Yes.
So, would you even know what their names are?
I'm guessing I actually have like a select few that I prefer that are easy and willing to give, so to speak.
Okay. And you are an Osiris by nature.
Yes.
So, would you be using your personal fame in the group, or would you be intimidating younger members or lying to
I'd be
younger
using
members?
I'd be using my fame.
You'd
within
be
the
using
group.
your fame. Okay.
Yes.
Then I need you to go ahead and roll an intimidate. Hold on.
Subterfuge.
If you're using your fame, actually, the options here, and I'll let you know just so you can decide how you want to do this. You can use manipulation plus subterfuge or intimidation plus fame, basically pushing your superiority on them.
I will use I will use manipulation subterfuge then. That's
Okay, then go ahead and roll
Because-
manipulation plus subterfuge, just to you will have access. It will succeed, but something might happen while you are doing this.
4 successes.
I'm seeing that. I would say that's a good success. Are you? How much are you taking?
I'd like to get down to 2. Start the night well and fresh.
Okay, go ahead and take what you're taking. And the feeding's going to be fairly easy. On your way out of the on your way out of I guess probably like the wing that their meeting hall is in. One of the members is going to ask you if you would like Miss Graves to know that you were in the facility tonight.
Cade will stop and look at this facility member and Miss Graves. Have you seen her around?
He's a little taken aback by the question. Yes, sir.
I was not aware that she was around as of late.
Yes, sir. She's working on a couple of different projects with the younger cadets.
I see. No, do not inform her at this time. I will let her know when I see her next.
Uh, okay. All right. Have a nice night.
I'll kind of like look at him for a moment, then walk away. That's interesting to say the least.
Okay. So you have reserved a moderately sized meeting room in the college to discuss your findings from last night. I'm going to assume that Cade probably would have been there first. How short of a leash are you keeping Darby on?
Well, Darby has a job, so she needs to go do it. Plus, also, since I believe she'd work at a vampire bar,
Yeah.
and that's where she would feed. And being a consensualist, it's going to be from somebody who goes there who enjoys it.
Okay. Do you want to go ahead and get a feeding done for yourself as well?
Yeah, I'm a 2, so yes, it'd be nice to go back to 1.
Okay. And
Take the edge off.
all right. So, are you looking for anything special, or do you just want to get things over and done with when it comes to your feeding?
Over and done with.
Over and done?
Darby is a practical person. Just get it done.
Okay. Let's go ahead and do a manipulation plus persuasion, and give me an idea of how you would be going about this.
Well, it's somebody who hopefully wants it, so knowing Darby, she's kind of a bull in a I don't want to say bull in a china shop because they actually don't really wreck things, but she just goes up to somebody who's there for this reason and is let's do this. And that's all she's really gonna say.
You just walk up and say, "Okay, let's do this."
Let's just get this done. I know, although I'll make it enjoyable.
Okay.
You all seem to like that for some reason.
I'm
She
thinking
really does not know actually how it feels.
I'm thinking
Has
this
reason.
is something of like a mutual kink kind of situation then.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
so let's go ahead and get
Really?
a manipulation plus persuasion.
That's 2, I believe, right?
2 successes, and this is pretty much somebody who is a willing blood doll, so I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be something that succeeds fairly easy for you, especially when you're at work.
And, and when I'm done, I go, yo, thank you very much.
They are kind of just out of it after the experience itself. They seem to enjoy it very much.
Good. Makes her happy actually when she leaves somebody happy. So
Now, one other thing is your boss at the bar, who we had decided is uh, is the local baron.
oh, the boss at the bar is the Baron. All right,
Yeah,
I didn't remember that.
he runs the bar.
Okay. Let's see.
And his name is he goes by Savvy, Savvy.
Let me put this in. So it's Baron Savvy.
Yeah. Well, he doesn't really want to be called Baron, but
No,
yeah.
I'm just putting. As to quote somebody who does this, I'm making a note.
Mm-hmm.
So he is the owner of the bar. Well, what am I supposed to call him? Savvy
Savvy's fine.
seems kind of, just Savvy.
Savvy's fine. Savvy is a well-standing member of Clan Toreador. And as you're done, as you're finishing feeding, and the delirious guy that you just got done feeding from kind of just lays his head down on the bar.
I pet it.
You pet him.
I pet the head. Good boy.
Savvy comes up from behind you, and he's laughing at the display that he sees in front of him.
What's so funny?
You remember the lick the wounds, right?
Oh yeah, that's right. I lick the wounds.
Darby,
Yes.
how's the situation going with that Tremere?
Oh, with Cade?
Yeah. Cade.
Nobody's messed with them, so far so good.
Okay. Did
Everything's good.
anything odd happen last night?
God, what did she want to tell him?
Good question.
Nope, nothing odd.
No.
Nothing odd at all.
All right.
Nope, everything went well.
Well,
In fact, I'm gonna go meet him. I'm about to go meet him when I'm done here.
all right. You do that, and keep yourself out of trouble. All right.
I'll do my best.
All right, because that museum got robbed last night, and he'll
It
turn around.
did.
He'll be walking away as he says that.
Do I get a sense that he suspects it's us at all?
I mean,
Can I make what is it? Can I make an insight?
yeah, that'd be wits plus insight.
Let's put some insights. That's 3. And I only get 1 hunger. Yay!
You got 1 success.
Go on.
I mean, you
only got
really
3.
can't. You really can't tell.
Damn.
You really can't tell whether or not he suspects anything, but he is saying to stay out of trouble.
We'll try, boss. And then I'll go finish my shift and then go meet.
Okay. So what is Carter up to tonight when he wakes up?
Oh, not that hungry, but I know I'm probably going to meet Mr. Blackstone at his office. Was it me who kept the scales, or was it Cade?
Well, that would be up to you two.
I believe it was Carter, because I did not partake in the theft itself.
Uh,
I would have
so
assumed it was Carter.
great. So I'm not going to be playing too much with these scales ahead of time, ahead of meeting the others, because I do understand their inherent risk.
Hmm.
However, I will be doing some researching either online or heading to the university to try and do some researching about them, to gather as much information that I can on them that's just what's available to the academic world.
Okay. Well, you look online. What kind of stuff do you look for online?
Their history, their use, and as well, does any other culture use a similar device or make reference to these scales?
They are they are exclusively Egyptian. Finding any reference to them, mostly what you're going to end up finding is an excavation that happened in the Valley of Kings in 1922. That was actually, strangely enough, led by Egyptologist Howard Carter.
No relation. All right.
Do you do
Uh,
anything at home before you leave, before you actually head out for the night?
so I was thinking I have my, for lack of a better word, retainer at home, one of my allies at home in a deceased state. Uh, I think I'm just going to leave him alone right now, though. I'm not going to raise him at this juncture, try and contact him.
Okay.
Uh, One thing I did want to do that I did put on downtime was try and contact my Mala, just phone call
Hmm.
in New York to see if he has any Camarilla contacts in Athens or if he knows of any. So I can try and get a heads up of what the situation is like for that here.
Okay, so you were contacting Mad Jack.
Mm-hmm.
Jack of Clan Nosferatu, I believe, correct?
That's correct.
Okay. When do you think the last time you saw Jack was?
Probably several months ago when I came down to Athens.
Okay. Um, let's see. Jack, he does not know anything specifically, but he's happy to look into it for you.
That would be very
Um,
much appreciated.
are you trying to make contact with the local Camarilla?
I'm going to take Jack's advice as to whether or not they would be approachable to Hakata, or whether they're best left alone, or whether they're more receptive to being met.
Well, you find yourself in a very profitable situation. Most of the time, the Camarilla don't really mess with the Hikata. So you'd pretty much be able to choose how you want to interact with things. If you're trying
Okay.
to make contact with them, I can try and set you up with someone, but as long as it's not political in any way.
No, at this point, I'm going to hold back on meeting them. Right now, I have no need to, but just in case things should arise later that I might need help or information, I want to just know who might be the best person to contact or who the easiest person to reach would be in the local Camarilla.
Okay. Well, I'll tell you what. What I'll do is I'll see what kind of information I can dig up, and I'll shoot it
That'd
your way as soon as I have it.
That would be ideal. Thanks, Jack.
Not a problem.
And with that, I think I go to the university to meet Professor Blackstone.
Okay. How do you do that? Is this do you try to get in secretively? Do you just walk in?
I'm an academic wearing a nice shirt. I don't think there's any reason to be secretive. I'm just here to meet Professor Blackstone. I've got the scales tucked away in my bag. No one should know what's that. I'm just a man walking around in a nice shirt with a bag on.
Okay. Now I do want to point out that these scales are a rather awkward item. They do they're not only fairly tall, I'd say possibly about 2 feet tall. They're almost about that wide as well.
So I'd need to have like hand luggage really to be wheeling these around.
Yes, probably. Yeah.
Well, I'll have small hand luggage like what you might see go when you put in the air when you're traveling via airplane in the overhead bins, the hand luggage.
Okay.
Hopefully that's big enough. Um, yeah, and that's what I'm going to the university with. That shouldn't raise too much in the way of suspicion. I'm just traveling here as my some of my extra books and stuff that I'm bringing with me.
Okay. You probably arrive not too late. Um, who do you think would? Well, Darby was trying to finish up a shift at work, correct?
Yes.
Okay. So I'm going to go ahead and say that Carter arrives first. Um, how would Cade be receiving Carter?
He would actually just instruct Carter to just come in. Like it's a public building. Currently, we don't want to. I don't want to raise any alarms or anything like that. So it just seemed like a casual meeting. I'm probably um, at a desk just or a table on a laptop working, writing up assignments or grading assignments while I wait.
Okay.
And again, it's just probably an out of the way gathering room or whatnot to begin, shall we say?
Mhm.
Again, something public enough because I don't know this person that well either.
Yeah, I'm pretty much just thinking that it might be a small room with maybe a small oval table with a few chairs around it.
Yeah, it sounds good.
Nothing too crazy. We'll go ahead and say that Carter can arrive. Would Cade be waiting for him in that room, or does he show up by himself?
I would think Cade would be waiting in that room.
Okay.
He's probably just working right now as he waits.
What does Carter see when he walks in then? If you're just working.
Cade looking similar to what he did the other night. Um, Sitting down, cane against the desk, a simple laptop in front of him as he typing away, looking over, um, probably looking over students' work and whatnot. Um, a different sweater vest this time, but a nice one. As Cade just looks up and nods to him. Ah, you've made it. Excellent.
Thanks for the invite, Professor. I brought one of the tools of our trade here with me.
Please have a seat.
Take a seat.
Darby's not here yet, unfortunately. I believe she may be, well, I can imagine she might be preoccupied. I don't know exactly her lifestyle.
She's a night owl, even more than the rest of us.
This is true. Given her demeanor, I believe that she was a child of the night well before more recent events or such happened to her. So you've had these scales for a day. Anything interesting happen?
No, they're pretty benign, I should say, right now. I did a little bit of research, but nothing too fantastic to report. Simply that they were dug up 70 years ago, and now from the Earth to here, there's not too much about them other than what we both sensed previously. Other than that, They're a beautiful paperweight.
A beautiful paperweight.
But I
Well,
haven't tried to push the boundaries too much yet with them. I was hoping you
definitely.
might be able to shed some more light on them before I do.
I don't know what I could do for you in this.
Or
This is
perhaps if you knew
definitely
anyone
a
who could help us with that.
oh. Unfortunately, you are probably the closest one that I would have as a contact that would know much about this, given that it is of a nature that I'm not familiar with at this point. I mostly focus within the general scope of, well,
Yeah.
sorcery and not life and death,
Hmm.
well, magic, so to speak.
I'll admit I have some skill, but I'm still what you would call a novice in the area. And given
Novice, you
what we
say? I was very impressed with what you did the other night, bringing forth that
I was
spirit.
both impressed and scared, I don't mind admitting. So given what we found from a comb, I wonder what boundaries these would push.
Hmm.
So before we go trying to knock on that door, I want to make sure I know as best as possible what might be on the other side.
Agreed, given that we saw this spirit the other night easily bypass a physical barrier with little to no effort. I would hate to imagine what type of entity might come forth from this and what they could do.
And my thoughts exactly.
At this point, I'm going to. I'm assuming I would have Darby's number to text her
I would
or get
say
a hold of
that's
her.
100% possible.
I'm going to give a quick text to just see, just write ETA.
Do we have an idea of how long it'll take me to get there?
You can
Or
show up in
Darby?
a couple minutes. I was just trying to give them a chance to get things set up.
All right. Hey, I'll be right there. I'm just up the street. Do.
I'll mention that Darby will be arriving soon. How about we bring forth this item and take a closer look at it under the light?
We're safe to open these up. No one's going to walk in. No students accidentally spending their time in these halls at night.
It is very possible. This is a college. But I don't suspect anybody's going to barge in. But on the safe side, I would have probably picked a place where I could like close the curtains,
Okay.
with some vague privacy.
Oh yeah,
Maybe like a space with like a lock to it.
yeah, these meeting rooms can be made quite private if they need to be.
Yeah, so I'll set it up. That'll probably take a few minutes. Maybe Darby will arrive by then.
Yeah, we'll go ahead and say that Darby is walking in just as you're like pulling down some blinds that like block the little window in the door from the outside hall.
Ah, Darby,
Perfect.
please
Evening.
come in.
Evening, you two.
We're just about to get
Sure.
private in here.
Getting private.
And just as she like enters in, I'm going to close the door and then lock it.
Okay.
Another reason why I chose such a public space is if something does happen, at least it's plausible that any damage or issues could have happened by just about anybody. Given that this is a college, I expect that there's probably cameras and whatnot around. At least in certain areas.
I'll
So
say
I
there's
would-
cameras in the halls, but probably not in the rooms.
No, I wouldn't expect in the rooms. I would have liked to pick a spot where you can't visibly see us entering in the room. Like
Okay.
An area or a secluded office that doesn't have a direct camera showing access in and out of the room.
Okay.
Something
Okay.
that
Tell
if
you
something
what.
does happen, we can be easily in and out.
Since I
without
said that
notice.
you were pulling down a shade that covers like a door in the window, why don't we go ahead and say that this is like an older portion of the college that is not really kept up to date. It's mostly used as like a storage annex at this point, but it used to be offices. So
that's fine.
we have this small area, this small room that you're using. there's no at least working cameras in
Okay.
this hall.
Yes, I'd like to make sure there's at least some privacy after a fashion.
Yeah, we'll give you that.
Well, let's put this on the table and see what we can see.
So I take it out, set it up.
Okay.
Do I feel anything more than what we did before coming off it, or perhaps even less because we're not surrounded by the other items from the museum?
When you take it out of the case that you have it in, you wrap your hand around the actual like central shaft of it. It
Axis?
has more of a warmth to it. It seems to have a vibrating power to it, and it's so much heavier than you remember. And when you set it down on the table, it has this just dull thud.
Hmm.
The small, thin, golden chains that hold the little balanced. They're more like dishes than anything else. Um, they go right into the position they should be when you set it down.
All right. Heavy son of a bitch, isn't it, Professor?
Does it look like it sounds like it's, or does it appear to be like it should be lighter?
I mean, it could be made out of a heavy material. I don't believe that Cade uh, held it at all.
No, I'm just giving like his comment and the sound that it made.
Mm.
I mean, it could be made out of straight gold for
Now,
all I know.
with Sense the Unseen, it does seem to have some otherworldly qualities to it. Cade would notice that.
Hmm. Okay. Hmm. There definitely is a strong aura about it still, outside of the museum. So it is certain that it is coming from this object. The problem is figuring out the purpose without inadvertently causing some unknown effect while messing with it. Given its nature, given the symbolism of it, it clearly has to do with life and death, possibly some form of judgment,
And
weighing of value.
my understanding is it's used to measure the weight of one's soul before entering the afterlife. And given our current state, I think I would be all ringing in a little light, but that's as much as I know about it.
I wonder if it would even affect us. There has been speculation that our kind does not, in essence, have a soul. Or I wonder if it
Either way,
could be
I don't
some
want
type
to put
of.
myself up for weighing on it.
I do not. I do not disagree with you. I would not wish that either. It could even be a key into something else. It symbolized something almost like a gateway. There's very many possibilities that this could be. The aura is very strong. Well, I guess we should start small. I will get a paperweight in the room, and I will gently place it on one of the scales
Okay.
and see what
Um,
happens.
Now, if you are facing the small statue of the god Anubis, which is the one who is holding the scales,
Mhm.
would you be placing it on the left or the right side?
What side traditionally is the? I think it's a heart is placed.
Well, if you would
I
like
want to
to,
say the right side. I want to say the right side, if I recall. I
if you
will place
want
it
to,
on the right
you can
side.
do an
Oh,
intelligence plus academics roll.
sure, let's try that. Let's make the character make decisions versus me.
Four
4
successes.
successes. Yes.
I'm going to go ahead and say that you have uh, seen enough practices in the halls of Tremere themselves. How involved in the standard Tremere were you before everything
A few,
changed?
a few years.
A few
A few
years?
years in.
Then
Yes, like
I
about
would
two or
definitely
so.
say that you would have picked up a little bit at least, and you would know that the left side is typically where in the stories the feather of an ibis was placed, and on the right side the heart of the individual being weighed was placed.
Okay. So in this case, I will put it on the right side first
Okay.
and see what happens.
Strangely enough, it doesn't move. There's no reason why it doesn't move. It's set to be an actual scale. This isn't just a statue. But
When he
everyone will
was
notice that it doesn't move at all.
when he was setting it up, did we see the scales moving?
Yes.
Well, this is very
They
interesting.
took a second to gain their bearings and find their balance.
I will then remove the weight from the right side. Shall we try the left side next?
I was just thinking, is there any way in this university we could find a heart, either in a biology lab or something of that nature?
Oh. Hmm.
I mean, not that I want to push the fates or tempt whatever's actually on the other side of this, but it might have a little more effect than a paperweight on it.
I do not disagree. Hmm. I don't
And if we're
know if we'd be
supposed to
able to
put a
find a
feather on
heart.
the other side, you know,
I don't know if we'd find
I
a
don't know
heart
about science
easily.
labs here, but maybe they have frog's heart, pig's heart, or a cadaver's heart.
That would probably be secured in some fashion.
You think it judge a pig? By the way, Darby is sort of wandering around, kind of half paying attention, but not really, because but half.
I can't say that it would be easy to obtain a biological sample through the college. Those are most likely going to be locked away and guarded, or at least locked away. Maybe not
Professor, I think
truly
we're a little
guarded.
bit past worrying about locks at this point.
Well, I do not wish to cause my reputation here to be placed into question. I understand I understand the desire to learn more about this object, but I do not want to have to be relocating either.
We need a real heart for this.
Cade would know that the Augusta University and the University of Georgia Medical Partnership has been in place for about 4 years now. So there is an actual practicing medical lab in the college, and they do have a nice collection of not only cadavers but also various parts for school use.
The question is, do I want to give that information away?
True.
It would be possible, but I would rather go about it in a I'd rather
I get it.
secure it in a less than breaking and entering fashion.
You
Wait,
want to try the safer approach first, but I'll let you put the weight on the scales first and see what happens.
I mean,
I actually hand
anybody,
the.
does
Yes.
anybody know someone at a hospital that could get us a heart?
Oh, sadly, no.
I just kind of look at Darby and so I was like, just think of your question for a moment there.
Well, I mean, They could know what you are. Maybe not. Or they could be one of us. Do you know any of us that work at a hospital that could get us a heart? I feel like this is an awful idea, but that's me, not Darby.
I think it would be doable.
So our options are go to a local doctor who might be able to get us a heart from a recently dead person, or, Professor, while we're in this university that has perhaps a biology lab. That's what we might find to weigh something.
Do either of you have the ability to persuade somebody to do such a thing?
Unfortunately, that's not in my skill set, Darby.
No. I have a point of persuasion. Well, yeah, no, I'm not. This character is not about manipulation. So, no, I don't think I'm that persuasive. I might be able to scare someone into it, but I'm not really that persuasive.
Unfortunately, my talents have been focused within the sorceress realm. So I do not have that persuasive ability either.
I have a question for Carter.
Go ahead.
How close are you to the rest of your family? To the rest of the
Carter's
Hikata?
personal living family?
The Hikata.
Not very. I'm somewhat on the run because my sire was on the run. But my connection really is more to the Camarilla via Mad Jack.
Okay. Okay.
I was thinking the same thing.
I'm gonna say that you probably could obtain something from members of the family, but that would definitely put you into them knowing exactly where you are if you called for assistance of any kind.
Right. So it's more the concern about alerting the Giovanni to where I am.
Yes.
I don't mind the risk. Um, yeah, can I reach out to the Hikata
You can.
or local Hikata branch? How is that done? Is I'm making a phone call here?
You would have been given a you would have been given a phone number that you would call. But the strange thing is the area code. Instead of the standard area codes that you would have that have three numbers, this one has a **7 area code. And it would go directly to a member of the Hikata that's in the area.
I'll try it.
Okay? Do you just pull
You
out your
must.
phone and call it here?
No, I'm going to alert them to what I'm considering doing. Professor Blackstone, the third option here is for me to reach out to members of my extended family, but that comes with its own issues, and there are those who aren't always friendly to us here.
Well, I will say
Huh.
I have a passing curiosity with this object, but it is not my main concern. So I think if you want to delve this deep, this quick into this, you might need to call them.
Yeah, how much you want to know? How much you want to know what these do? If you want to know that badly, call them. If you don't, I wouldn't.
Darby, you going to stay around in case people I don't want around are here later?
Maybe like tonight or in general.
In general, both.
I mean, I'm kind of tasked to keep an eye on him. So if you're with us, I'll be keeping an eye on you too.
All right. I give this number a call, and I'll pull out my phone and give the number a call and see who's on the other line.
Okay. the phone is going to ring about 3 times, and then it's going to shut off. And then about 2 seconds later, your phone will ring.
Okay. I answer.
Who is
Carter here.
this? Carter?
Carter.
How'd you get this number, Carter?
I was given this by Mad Jack.
What can I do for you, Carter?
Well, I've come in the way of an item here that went missing from a museum a little while ago. And I'm trying to find out a little more about it. And I'm wondering if there's someone around who might be able to help us with that.
Cade looks a little as he's telling so much information, but doesn't say anything.
Darby doesn't seem to care. Doesn't seem to be really listening into his conversation. She's looking around at the room, and is there anything interesting in this room?
Not really. Not really. There's actually there's an old poster frame on the wall with no poster in it.
She goes and kind of picks at it and see if there's like any evidence of what was in there.
Nah, not really. It's just a cheap plastic, flimsy acrylic, what would be glass. But yeah, no, there's nothing in it. It's just there. It looks like somebody may have tried to remove it, but like the stuff they used to stick it to the wall was just too strong, and they didn't want to damage the wall by removing it.
Jeez, man. Too bad I had a poster collection. It'd just be perfect to put one of them in here.
All right. Tell you what, Carter. This line that you're on is secure. If you want to tell me what you need, and I might be able to name a price for you.
Well, I'm looking for information on, or anyone who could help me figure out what this thing is. And I have some associates interested in it. And it might provide some assistance in dealing with the local anarch community.
Anarchs. What do you have?
You read the papers at all?
Yeah. Is this recent?
The item that went missing from the Museum of Natural History last night. The scales. They're definite.
You hear some typing. Some pretty significant, like loud clicking of a keyboard.
Given the side of the conversation we're hearing, Cade does look over at Darby, especially at some of the choice phrases he's saying and how he's saying it.
Oh, I'm looking back. I'm like,
But I stay silent, or Cade stays silent.
Yeah. We just look at each other, and that's it.
So you got the scales of Anubis.
Yeah, I do.
All right.
They're safe, but right now we're just trying to figure out what these things do.
Well, it's supposed to weigh the soul of the dead.
Yeah, but there are other people here interested in them for perhaps other reasons, and we're trying to figure out what those other reasons are.
Okay.
Without trying to use them directly.
You want to find out what an artifact does, but you don't want to use it directly. What exactly is my place in this?
Well, is there anyone in the extended network here that might be able to come, maybe help us have a look or tell us a little more about them? Anyone with a little bit more in touch with the afterlife?
Tell you what. There's a let's see. You're in Athens, right?
I am.
I'm assuming with everything that's going on. Let's see. There's a there might be somebody who can help you out at the Heritage Garden at the State Botanical Garden of Georgia.
All right. What's their name?
Giving names out over the phone.
I thought this line was secure.
Oh, it's secure. That is. That's not really my concern. Let's see. Yeah, if you go there and you ask for a guy named Cassidy, he should be able to help you out.
Cassidy. And is Cassidy well, one of us?
Yeah, you could say that.
All right. And what do I owe for these services?
I'll give you a call back depending on what happens.
All right. And you are?
Polly. Just call me Polly.
Polly?
Yeah.
All right, Polly. I'll be in touch.
Mm-hmm. And he'll hang up.
I just look at Cade.
Yep.
And say nothing. And let him take the lead on this one.
I sense their frustration at me and playing a few cards, and I look at them and I said, "You're the one who didn't want to go get me a heart, and now we've got the other option."
You want
Oh, no, it
us to
wasn't so
get
much that.
you a heart. That was a big fat no. I don't have any contacts. I asked if you had any contacts that could get one. At a hospital, specifically. Sorry, Kate.
I have a question for you, Carter. What is your intent with these?
To learn more about them.
Over the
I wanna
phone,
know-
it sounded like you had some issue potentially with the Anarchs. Is this true? Or
I have no issues with the Anarchs, but I want to learn more about these and anything else like them. I can. That'll help further the understanding of our nature.
I can respect that. I will say it seems like you're giving an awful lot of information away, though.
Didn't have much choice. I'm asking for someone to help me. They have to know at least what they're going to help me with.
Yes, but you said you wanted a heart. Now we're going to go see somebody about the object themselves.
Oh, taking the risk. Unfortunately, that's my only option at this point.
I take a closer look at these scales.
Okay.
And something that I didn't do last time that I'm thinking of now. Do I spot any type of writing or hieroglyphs on them that I maybe didn't spot before? Something small, obscure, out of the way?
There is a. Well, give me a. Let's see. Give me a intelligent or yeah, an intelligence investigation.
It's my investigation.
You have a 2 in investigation.
Yes, I do. So 1, 2, 3, 3 successes.
Towards the bottom, it looks like it's just some scratches, but they do seem to be a little bit more designed, intentional. Let's see. With your academics, you're going to be able to recognize them, but probably not read them right off the bat.
That's not surprising.
Yeah.
I don't exactly. Well, depending on what language it's in.
Let's see.
Not enough points of character creation.
It's it's an interesting collection of what looks like triangular nicks in specific orders. You would recognize it as cuneiform.
Cuneiform?
Mm-hmm.
So, as a player, I have no idea what that is. Could
Okay.
you brief me?
Sure. Cuneiform is a writing system that it was used to write several languages of ancient Near East. The script was in active use in the early Bronze Age until the beginning of the Common Era. It's one of the oldest writing forms there was. The some of the oldest texts can go back as far as the 24th century BC.
Was it considered a real language or more just like a script to write certain things in? Do we know? Let's see. Cuneiform is not a language, but a proper way of writing
Yes.
distinct from the alphabet. Okay. So it's not a spoken language, but it is a proper form
It's a
of
written
writing.
language, yes.
Okay, interesting. Cade will point this out. Well, this is fascinating.
Peer over at it.
It appears that there are some markings here that at first glance appear to just be potentially nicks, but these are certainly an actual written language, one called cuneiform. I do not know how to speak it. I happen to have seen it in the past, and I'm pretty sure this is what it is. Cade is actually going to take out like a little notepad, and he's going to sketch in what he's seeing.
Okay.
Now you said this is like at the base. Like, is it in the? I'm assuming it's kind of got like a flared base for.
If you look under the scene art, there is a picture of the scales.
So it's actually in like the base itself.
Yeah, it's along
Okay.
the edge of the base.
Okay. Does the base look older, newer, or about the same rough age and material as the scale itself?
It looks all about the same age.
Okay.
Like it doesn't look like anything was added to it later.
Okay. Good to know. Does this all look like, aside from the scale itself, does it look like it's mostly one piece or like put together pieces?
It's probably put together pieces. When you
Okay.
look at it, there's the base itself looks like it's made out of wood. There's a lot of gold. Um, Yeah, it doesn't look like it's all one piece. The statue of Anubis itself is stone.
Okay, good to know. All right. Well, I will take that note and look at Cade. Well, this is some interesting information. He will also make a copy for Cade. I'm sorry, not Cade, for Carter as well,
Yeah.
for your own research as well.
I would recognize what uniform is just as a concept, but Carter just takes a stab at if there's a cuneiform to English translate on its own. Just will literally will Siri help us?
Now you have me actually curious.
That would
So
be impressive.
I take a picture of it and see if I can in any way replicate that, or just on simple Google terms, and maybe I look at Darby to help me,
Kate,
because I know Darby
Oh
has
my
a point
god.
of tech that I don't.
Cade is a little disappointed them using all the technology rather than straight research, but he shouldn't judge.
I mean, I could try.
Modern problems call for modern answers, I guess. You're asking Darby. Darby, could you
Darby, is this
please?
something that you can
Come on, Darby, roll all
Siri
those
or
successes.
computers fix this?
Oh Lord! All right, so looking at my actual phone,
Yeah.
and then the Apple Translate cuneiform is not an option. So Darby's gonna have to go elsewhere. What am I looking for here?
Let's go ahead and get a wits plus technology roll from Darby.
So it's not intelligence, huh? All right, so
No,
that's
because you're
3.
trying to
It's
find
only gonna
something
be
that you're not sure exists.
Oh man,
It's
there's actually
only
different
gonna be
variations of it too.
There is.
Sumerian, early
Oh, boy.
Babylonian, late Babylonian.
Actually, it doesn't matter. Intelligence and wits are the same number.
Yeah.
So it's 10. All right, so it's 3.
I like
Yeah,
the one that
only
kinda
3.
looks, I like how some of these symbols almost look like memes.
You are able to boost if you need to by spending a blood trait.
Spending a what?
By doing a rouse check, you can add 2 blood. You can
Oh
add 2.
boy, do I want to? Yeah, I just had it typed up. Fine, sure, I'll do it. I feel like this is somewhat important. Oh, it didn't. Oh, it didn't put the space in. I see.
I will ask the storyteller, based on my, what was it, 3 successes?
I get friggin' hungrier.
Based on my 3 successes, could I figure out generally which form of cuneiform it is?
If you give it a few moments, or if you do another test for me, let's just go ahead and say your intelligence plus academics, and you can go ahead and add your specialty to that for
Okay.
research.
That's 3 successes, mate.
Okay. Darby, while you're just wandering around on your phone, you find a website called Lingo Jam.
Oh,
I love
shit.
it.
Oh, my lord.
lingojam.com / ing dash cuneiform. And it actually does have an English to cuneiform.
Here you go. I think this is what you're looking for. And I'll hand him back the phone.
I
It
got
does
4
exist
successes.
in real life.
Oh my god, wait, it does? Lingo Jam.
I'm on it right now. Lingojam.com.
And it they should be paying you for the advertising now.
Ancient Mesopotamia / Sumer language translator.
Hey Lingo Jam, if you want to sponsor us.
Okay.
That's funny.
As for Cade, 1, 2,
4
3, 4
successes.
successes. You you are actually able to figure out by the repetition of the symbols that you are working on a you're working on a variant of cuneiform that is Old Persian.
Old Persian. I will inform the other members of this.
Persians, eh? I don't have a lot of information on that. Can I make a
So 5th century BC.
all right. Can I make a Carter's specialty being in theology under academics, and the occult, and his specialty is necromancy. Can I make a roll to see if I would have any information or awareness of Persian practices, and if these skills come up anywhere there?
You
Or is
can.
it, yeah,
Let's just go ahead and say that would be an intelligence plus occult. Um,
6 dice.
your specialty is necromancy.
Yeah,
This is not specifically a necromancy thing, so it would just be
no.
your yeah. So you got
It
three
would.
successes for Carter, correct?
Yep.
Okay. Where you can understand how, like, possibly in trade routes and stuff, languages can go from one place or another. The Persians didn't really have an Anubis.
This might be treading the line between two cultures. So, Professor, while I can recognize this text, and it might be Persian, it doesn't seem to provide any solid link that I can connect to Anubis.
Then this may have been added in afterwards by someone else.
That's
Maybe
exactly
not
what I was
of
thinking.
Persian. Maybe of Persian descent, or simply encoding it for secrecy.
Well,
I would
if
say
we
it
had put
deepens the mystery, per se.
have we put the weight on the other side of the scales yet?
We have not. I find it fascinating that putting the weight on the art side certainly shows that it is of some significant mystical ability, since nothing has happened, but it still stays even.
I agree. And then I just motion to Professor Blackstone to see if he's willing to entertain putting the weight on the other side.
I'm sort of looking, I'm sort of peeking. I'm sort of still wandering around. Actually, is there any?
I pass the weight to Carter, so he may put it on the other side.
By the way, if they
Be my
seem
guest.
hesitant, I'm gonna walk up, grab it, and put it on there.
Carter's more than happy to let go of it and let her try.
I'm gonna do it. I mean, I have what the heck's the thing there? It's a flaw. I have risk taker,
Yeah.
so this seems over. Come on! I'm just do it. I'm just put it on there.
Well,
I don't actually think anything's. She doesn't think anything's actually gonna happen because it's not hard or feather. So
when Cade takes it off, the scales jostle a little bit. And when Darby takes it out of his hand and puts it in the left side, it doesn't move at all. It stays exactly balanced.
Interesting.
oh, that's what I figured might happen since it seemed to already happen going the other direction.
I actually want to stare at it closely as she places the weight on and see if I spot any difference in the aura.
Nothing really changes. at all. It's just there. It just seems to be exuding this um, otherworldly energy.
Uh,
Okay. Well, it appears that at least a foreign object of such nature will not invoke any reaction from the artifact. It may be that we need something more specific for an activation or a reaction.
I think it needs the real thing.
I need a heart. I think so.
Maybe. It may need a heart. Remember, Anubis was weighing the souls. Soul's not necessarily a heart.
Well, I'm not putting my hand on it.
This is fair. And a wise caution. I think it may be good for me to, or us to, figure out exactly what this cuneiform text etched in the bottom states. It may give us some sort of clue to its function, or if it's a warning, may give us a heads up. Did Darby have any luck on the translator?
Oh, I found it and I gave it to Carter.
Do we get any form of translation off of these?
Yeah, what does it say? We all want to know.
There seems to be a lot of gibberish. I'll just put it that way. But there are some things that seem to stand out. Let's see. If you where along the base do you think you would try to translate first? Because it wraps around the whole thing.
Oh, that's a good. I'd probably start from the front, like down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
What about from one skill
Trying to
to
think
the
of
next?
which. I don't know which way they wrote their alphabet. I think they may have wrote it left to right. So I will first try left to right across the base, starting at the center of the image, like where Anubis would be.
Okay. Starting from the center where Anubis would be, there is a cluster of cuneiform that says Gift of Apis.
Gift of Apis. I know that name. Cade may know that known. I feel like it's some sort of serpent.
That is going to be intelligence plus academics, if you would like. 3 successes.
Yes.
You know that Apis, also called Hap or Hep, or sometimes Happy, is an ancient Egyptian bull god of fertility and the underworld.
So I was completely wrong. Cool.
What were you thinking out of curiosity?
When I was thinking Apis, I was thinking some type of snake entity or
I think you're thinking of
mythological
Apophis.
creature. It could be.
Now, Apis was worshipped in ancient Egypt, and it is the bull god of fertility and the underworld.
Now that would track then. Can we translate any more going across?
Oh, you definitely can.
Let us continue.
Judging
This is
by
rather interesting.
what you just translated, there are 10 inscriptions total.
How long do we think it'll take us to do this?
It could take you a while because of how strange cuneiform is.
Yeah.
Trying to get it into the translator on a cell phone is a little difficult.
True. I'll actually go on my laptop that I have with me, and go to the site. I'll look at Darby. So what site was that again?
What the hell was it called? Something
Li-
lingo?
Lingojam.com.
Jam.com.
You guys are getting free advertising.
That's right. I
Well,
said they should sponsor us, you know.
I look at Carter. I says, I can spend some time translating this. I don't know when you're planning on meeting your contact. And
Well,
if you wish to do it alone or if you wish to have us accompany you. I'm a
I'm
little
more than happy
leery
to
of
have you guys accompany me.
I am a little leery of meeting strange guests.
Well,
Especially on their terms. But I am curious enough. And I'm sure Darby is also curious enough, though I do not wish to speak for you, my dear.
Oh, yeah. No, I'm totally curious. I do want to find out. Egyptian. It's a very interesting history, even to me.
Maybe that should be your next tattoo. An Egyptian god. Maybe
Ooh.
Anubis.
Maybe you could put the scales. Wouldn't that be a great tattoo? Scales. Ooh, I have to figure out where to put it though. I don't have much room left.
Darby, if the curiosity is going to get the better of you, then perhaps you'd like to accompany me to the Heritage Gardens, and we can go for a lovely stroll.
Well, I only if Master K could go too. I mean, it's gonna be all of us.
Cade looks a little odd at her when she says Master Cade.
You could kind of tell I might have been a little facetious there.
Well, I have no objection from this. Just a note of caution is all. Botanical gardens, you say, huh?
That's just
Heritage Gardens.
Oh, my apologies. I mean, we can always just go to the Waffle House. I'm sure Darby would like going there.
What? Oh, that would be so excellent.
Wow.
Yeah. So
Wow.
just close up the computer. I suggest we pack this away if we're going to head off.
That's where we should have done all this research. We should have just gone to the Waffle House. No one's suspected things. Weird stuff happens there all the time. You know it's true.
She's probably not wrong, actually.
Exactly. I know I'm not wrong.
Yeah, so I will pack up. I'm assuming we will meet him tonight, or should we wait to see him another day? Or this person, Polly.
No, we'll go see them. We can go see them tonight or tomorrow. It doesn't matter to me.
Let us do tonight then, because I would like to get back to a little research. And to be honest, I am curious. I would like to find out what this cuneiform reads out to be.
And then let's be on our way.
From the college, you guys are heading to the southwest to the State Botanical Gardens of Georgia, specifically the Heritage Garden. So when you get there, you're going to find that this place is massive and just nothing but plants. It looks like a national forest. However, it is there are a lot of like walking trails, and the few buildings that are here are the Garden Club of Georgia is based here. There's a day chapel. There is a porcelain and decorative arts museum. So it's basically a bunch of like tiny little figurines. And then there is also the State Botanical Garden of Georgia's Visitor Center. So where exactly are you heading?
Given our time of arrival is definitely going to be past what I assume is their closing time.
Oh, they have been closed for quite some time already.
I'm expecting lights off in the visitor center, but Is there anywhere where we can see lights on in any of the buildings just as we drive around? I'm not expecting the botanical gardens to have super tight security.
There doesn't really seem to be super tight security. Um, there is literally a little swing gate that comes by that says that like the park closes at sunset.
My guess is we should probably go to the actual Heritage Gardens, which is it's an open air area with a gazebo.
Mm-hmm.
What the hell are those called? I know that structure. What is that called?
A pergola?
Yes, thank you. There's also one of those. A couple of them actually.
Yeah, the Heritage Garden is pretty interesting, and right next to it is also an herb garden. But yes, it is all open air, um, and they are closed. They open at 7 a.m. tomorrow.
All right.
I will park not in the parking lot, or at least someplace hidden in the parking lot,
Mm-hmm.
so it doesn't appear that oh, someone's here. If a security guard walks by.
Yeah.
Well, leaning on that, we're looking for a member of the Hakata. You said there was a day chapel. Perhaps it's something else at night, and that would be my first inclination of where to find Cassidy.
Yeah, if you take the little road that leads inward and you take the first fork, if you're driving south, if you take the first fork to your left, it's going to
Mhm.
lead to a little roundabout, which will lead to a walkway that will take you to the chapel trail, which will take you to the day chapel.
Well, Professor, my instincts are that we're going to find Cassidy at the day chapel.
Very well. Lead the way.
Okay.
So we head to the day chapel, which I'm just trying to open up on my computer.
There's a lot of paths and trails from the day going from and to the day chapel.
There are, but they're all very well marked. So if you park at the roundabout parking lot that's over by the Garden Club of Georgia, of a fairly large building, you would be able to make your way over with a slight walk. You could drive, but the road is going to be a little strange at night. That's 100% up to you guys.
Ooh.
If you want to get there and drive, I would say that's going to be a wits plus drive check to try to get there without getting lost.
Oh, jeez.
It's up to you guys.
Use the phone. So, just for your sake, if you want,
I will lower the difficulty if you're using Google
um,
Maps.
I am using Google Map.
So yeah, the day church is a pretty interesting setup. There are windows all the way around it. You would see some dim flickering lights on the inside of this place. The glass door that leads inside has a very beautiful tree, like a wooden tree decoration on it. There are
I get
9
lost with
rows.
Google Maps.
There's 9 rows of pews on each side. Everything is wood. Very high ceilings. And yes, there is an altar with a grand piano to the left. And there are about there's three people in here when you get to this location.
So it's gonna be a while to get there because I do get lost because I got 2 5s.
Oh no.
So it takes a little longer than expected.
You are 100% sure that you can drive to this place, but you accidentally just go back to the garden club. You just it's a big circle you just took. You just missed the turnoff. But if you go a second time, you definitely can make it. It's not that big of a deal. You're lucky you didn't get any ones.
Oh.
Because like you'd be so suffering from the Tremere perfectionism right now.
Yep.
You'd have to go 3 times. Uh, all right, so yeah, there's three other individuals in here, and they're all wearing black robes.
Oh, good.
Yeah, I look at Carter. That's more than one person.
Yeah. Well, I don't think a member of my group would be here, and then these people would not be here as well. So I'm going to take the chance that they are connected with Cassidy in some way.
I look behind us to make sure there's not more people like coming out of the woods or whatnot surrounding the building.
Mm-hmm. If you would like to, you can go ahead and throw a wits and awareness check,
Yeah, not my strong suit.
and go ahead and add an extra point for your Auspex.
Okay, that's nice.
2 successes and a 1, which means you
Yes.
didn't pass the test, and you got a 1.
Oh no.
So,
And well, I'll let you resolve this, but I'm looking out too because that's my job. So
while
I
you
figure I
are
resolve him first.
while you're here, Kate is going to be suffering from paranoia
I was hoping you would actually pick that one. That seems about
because
right.
where you don't really see anything, you feel like there's people all around you. You feel like they're watching you. They're keeping an eye on everything that you're doing, and you could swear that the ground here is pulsating.
Mm.
Oh, fun times.
But I imagine that you are all standing outside, and through the windows, you can see that there are 3 people in black robes.
Just remember, everyone, it's not paranoia if it's true.
He's not wrong.
I mean, I
Well, I'm the
guess.
one who asked for it, so I suppose I should take the lead on this one.
Oh no, I go first
Happy
because
to.
I'm your bodyguard. So I'm going first.
This building is a very interesting sage green color, and it has this like weird mix of like an old backwoodsy house, but it has this massive chapel and spire attached to it.
Could I make a wits and awareness?
You can. Yeah,
I don't see
you don't
shit.
notice
No
anything.
ones.
You don't
No
know. Yeah,
ones.
you don't
No
notice anything. You don't
successes.
know why Cade's acting so strange out here.
I don't know.
Yeah, Kate's not feeling comfortable about this.
I look at Darby. Well, miss, shall we?
I guess we shall. And I'm just gonna go right in the door.
I was
The
going to knock, but
No,
okay.
the
I just
doors.
said, Darby. I just opened the door and stride in.
Yeah, the doors are unlocked. The 2 people that are sitting in the pews are sitting in the second to last on either side of the main hall. The other person who is here, who and they're all wearing matching black robes, like I said, um, is over by the small table that acts as an altar in this church.
The
And
black robes are they more like just what a priest would wear, or something more a little more nefarious than that?
they're like black, long hooded robes.
Okay,
So
not
not
a
like
priest.
priest robes.
Yeah,
You're walking into more of a cultish situation. Uh,
yeah. That's fair.
um, when you walk in, the 2 who are sitting in the pews will turn and look towards the 3 of you as you're walking in. They don't get up, they don't say anything, they just turn and look towards you. And you can tell when they turn that they are both women, or at least they have feminine features. But they are also obscured by these robes that just hang down in front of their faces. The third person, who is up by the little altar, moving some objects around, doesn't even notice that you guys walk in.
I just clear my throat. Good evening.
They they don't really seem to mind that you're there. Um, you can definitely hear that at least the two who are sitting in the pews are whispering something very repetitive, but definitely not in English.
Okay. I got a pip in linguistics for Italian. Any register there?
Let's go ahead and do. You have Italian.
Italian.
Let's go ahead and do an intelligence. We'll do academics, and you can go ahead and add your linguistics because it's not specifically Italian, but it might be something that at least shares a root. You've got one
One.
success. Um, yeah, you're not really able to catch anything that they're saying. It's all just seems like gibberish to you.
I'm gonna clear my throat again and say, "Hello there. Good evening. My name's Carter. I was sent by Polly. I'm looking for Cassidy."
The the figure who's near the altar, you can just sense an audible just come out of them, and she'll turn around. You can tell that she is also a woman, and she's going to remove her hood, and she has this unnaturally blacked hair. Like, she has definitely spent a lot of money buying black dye.
Ooh,
Um,
love, love
her
your hair.
her skin is bone white, and you can just see all of these blue veins working their way underneath her skin. And her robe is open in the front, exposing that she is not wearing anything beneath it. She is barefoot and bare-bodied aside from the robe. And she is holding a bowl in her left hand, a rather decorative uh this decorative, what looks possibly copper bowl, and a bronze knife in the other hand, in a with the blade facing downwards. And she just turns around, giving you a good glimpse of the altar behind her, which has a skull and crossbones and several candles and just roses everywhere. And she turns around and goes, "What can I do for you?"
I presume you're Cassidy, madam?
"Yes, I am Cassidy."
Good evening. My name's Carter. As I said, these are my colleagues, Darby and Professor Blackstone. I was
She
told by...
she looks towards the two who are in the pews, who stand up, walk over to her, and she hands them the bowl and the knife, one to each. And she closes up her robe, ties it off with a sash, and takes a couple steps towards you.
By the way, I wave and I go, "Oh, hey, I really like your hair."
"Thank you. What can I do for you now?"
I was told by Cassidy that you might be able to help us with an item that's come into our possession, and to discern a little bit more about it. Perhaps you're familiar with it, and I don't think we brought the scales with us, but
That's up to you. You're the ones. You're the one holding it and whatnot. We could have left it in the car, I guess.
left it in the car. Um,
What's the item?
it's the scales of Anubis that went missing from the museum last night.
Oh, I heard.
Are
Do you
you?
do you understand who you've angered?
I hadn't. I hadn't known I had angered anyone.
You stole
Uh,
from a museum.
Cade is going to make sure that his back is like almost right up against the wall.
No, but
She's gonna gesture towards Cade and look at Carter. Is he okay?
I can never tell. He's a bit flighty, you know, these academic types.
Hmm.
Relax, Cade. I'm here. I've got your back.
No one's going to bite you. She
I
says
did
that
not
with
say
her
it was.
fangs extended.
Cade just kind of looks like, I did not need to offend. Just a bit unsettling here.
So, Miss Cassidy, perhaps you could enlighten me as to whom I've offended?
Do you know who is in charge of that museum?
I was under the impression it was nothing but the Athens taxpayer.
Uh, well, the Athens taxpayers may be providing a lot of the revenue for the museum, but the museum itself, how do I put this? We're obviously all of the same lifestyle here, I take it.
We are.
Have you ever heard of the Independent Alliance?
I can't say that I have. I look over at Professor to see if he has any notion of who they are.
Offhand, I don't. I'm not sure if my character would.
You probably wouldn't. It's something that would be rather hush hush in fifth edition.
That's fair.
The Independent Alliance was a failed agreement between two clans. And where it failed and didn't continue on the way that it should, there are still some who are at least trying to keep things cordial. Those scales that you stole, were the property of the ministry.
Okay.
Kate just smiles, not terribly surprised by that.
The museum that you stole them from is in charged by the Giovanni.
Carter visibly kind of goes without saying it, but just shoulders kind of sagging. And he's like, "Oh crap."
Hmm.
I take it, Miss Cassidy, that you have no particular connection to the Giovanni or the ministry?
The only
meaning
connection that I have with the Giovanni is that we are now under the same banner. I don't like them, but we belong to the same blood.
then we are of common accord then. Well, then, at further risk of being a little forward, Miss Cassidy, can you tell me anything about these scales or who else has been looking for them?
If they are an actual relic, which I would doubt if they weren't, given the fact that you have taken them. Have you attempted to use them for their intended purpose?
We've tinkered with them, for lack of a better word, but we haven't tried to really use them.
Back in their heyday, the ministry used to get into all kinds of problems. I'm not exactly sure what these would be used for specifically, or if they're even ministry property originally. You have to understand that the followers of Set were not the only ones who had claim to Egypt.
Hmm. We have reason to believe these are of both Egyptian and, in some ways, Persian origin.
She'll kind of perk up a little bit when you say that.
Does
Cade
that...
will clear his throat. Mm, that is a bit of speculation, but there is evidence of at least some Persian or writing that would lead us to believe Persian influence.
Does that color your impression of these at all, Miss Cassidy?
It brings a little bit of curiosity. Have you seen any? What gives you the idea that it might have Persian connections?
Well, on closer examination, we found some curious writing that lends itself to be of Persian origin, but we haven't fully deciphered its meaning. But we have no real understanding of their use beyond simply what you would find through any modern Google search.
I'm not really sure exactly what I can do to help you with this.
Oh, I'm so tempted to speak up.
I believe the goal that Carter wishes to have answered is, would you by chance know its purpose?
Yeah, you got a heart? I think they want to try it.
She just laughs directly at what Darby says, like out of pure amusement, just like the forwardness of the question.
Well, I looked back at Cassie and said, my friend's not wrong, but perhaps you could shed a little more light to us before we go so willingly into the unknown.
You mean extreme? Because that's kind of extreme.
If it is to be used exactly as the scales of Anubis are meant to be used, you'd want to put a heart in the right side and an ibis feather in the left. I don't just have a heart sitting around. But ibis feathers aren't that difficult to get them around, especially here in Georgia.
Any tips on where we could procure one? I'm fairly new to the city.
She turns to the woman who's holding the bowl and just says, Eloise, would you mind? And Eloise just gets this look of like annoyance on her face and reaches into like down the neck of her robe and pulls out this beaded, obviously homemade necklace that she's wearing that has just all of these little white and brown feathers all over it. And she just grabs like one of the largest ones and just angrily rips it off of the necklace and just holds it out to you.
I take what's proffered and I say, my thanks, Eloise.
So, what exactly are you planning to do with those scales?
Well, not right here, but my two-part plan, which I'll explain afterwards to Cade, would be to use where the veil thins, find a good place to help access these, and then actually try and use them for their intended purpose with the heart and the feather. We still have to find out why other people would be interested in this, because right now, as far as I know, it only weighs the merit of one individual in the afterlife. And if that's all they're good for, that's not a huge thing, but it might be to someone else. I'm trying to figure out why that someone else would be that interested in it.
You're trying to find a place where the veil is thin. So, finding a place where necromancy has been used in abundance, the practice of oblivion, is going to be what you need to find.
That's right.
It is used here quite often. And I have to admit, I'm a little curious in what you're exactly trying to do.
Your assistance would be appreciated, and your knowledge and guidance.
We would still need a heart.
I mean, you wouldn't happen to have one, would you?
No, I don't just have a heart lying around.
Just throw that out there. But I can't wait to see where it goes.
Do you want to have a human heart, a kindred heart?
Oh,
I was actually going to ask that, but I didn't want to interrupt. Can a kindred remove their own heart without it torturing them?
What?
I'm going to assume no.
I know of a way that can actually happen.
What?
I'm not terribly surprised at that.
Unfortunately, I don't have the ability to do it, but strangely enough, since we're talking about the scales of Anubis, members of the Church of Set have the ability to do that.
Again, not terribly surprised. As I learn more, I can picture its usage now. Especially given if it is tied to the Church of Set, or the ministry, as they are now rebranded. I could certainly see this being used as a way to weigh one's worth within kindred society to see if more redemption is needed, given what I've heard of the ministry. Does make actually quite a lot of sense now. This may be a tool that the ministry uses to judge if a kindred is reformed or to be redeemed.
You don't have much experience with the ministry, do you?
No, only a little bit of what I've heard. I've
They
never met
are
ministry members.
they are excessive hedonists.
Hmm.
So, what do you plan on doing with this newfound information?
Well, Miss Cassidy, if we haven't interrupted what you're doing, and I know we have too much for this evening, perhaps we could arrange a time to follow up and explore the use of the scales with you.
I would be lying if I said I wasn't interested.
We're
I think
going to
that's
have
why
to
we
work,
all are. I think that's why we're all here at this point.
Yeah, even I'm
Mutual
interested.
interest.
we're going to have to work to procure the necessary heart, but I have a feeling we can. Well, where there's a will, there's a way. We haven't gotten this far to stop now. And would you know of any place that we might be able to procure that item?
A heart?
We have some ideas already, but
I was going to
if you know,
say a human chest.
yeah, that's what I thought. Well then. Well, I'd be remiss to say if you've been of great help. So I'd be remiss to say or didn't offer if there's anything we can do to help you in return.
I'm sure I'll think of something.
Make sure you call him.
By the way, when we came in, can I ask what we interrupted?
From one Hecata to another.
From one Hecata to another.
This is where the Bahari meet. We've come to worship Lilith.
I'll admit you're the first Bahari I've ever met. I'd be intrigued to know more.
She's going to turn and walk up the little steps that lead to the altar, grab one of the roses, and then when she comes back down, she's going to put it in like a little buttonhole on your shirt. I'm sure you do.
Thank you.
I don't want to have too much player knowledge versus character knowledge. Is there anything I could roll for Cade to see how much information he's aware of when it comes to Bahari?
You can always do an intelligence plus occult for that kind of thing.
Okay. I do have a -2 die because paranoid. Although this feels like
And
the reason why I was
you
paranoid.
can actually use your you can use your specialty to that.
Okay. That'll be 7 since I'm at 2 dice.
Yep.
Oh my god, really? Yeah, it just got worse. No, I'm just more paranoid.
Wow.
Wow, wow, wow.
Wow.
Wow,
You,
that's.
You know you've heard the name Bahari before, but you really don't
Mhm.
know where, and you also know that kindred cults tend to be very dangerous.
Yes.
You definitely know, like, Lilith is pretty common knowledge.
Yeah.
But these are people who are turning against the standard what kindred believe in.
Hmm.
So that's not really something that is comfortable for you. Could I also get a wits plus aspects from you?
2 dice penalty still.
Yep. It has nothing to do with escaping the situation, so yes.
Okay.
Hopefully, we're gonna escape soon.
Yeah, 2 successes. Best
Two,
outcome.
two successes. Uh, yeah, you really don't notice anything.
Yeah, best outcome I could get.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could have gotten 2 10s.
No, that wouldn't have been the best outcome.
That would have been 4 successes.
Yeah, with a messy critical.
Yeah, that's absolutely true.
Okay, so let's put it this way: for the storyteller, that would be the best outcome possible.
Yes.
Let's do a quick sense the unseen just while we're in here.
You can.
3 successes.
3
3
successes.
successes.
3 successes. You are going to pick up some pretty interesting things. First off, the 3 of you and the 3 of them are not the only things in here. There are a good amount of wraiths on the other side that are just filling the pews.
All right.
You are also going to notice that the 3 women who are just wearing the robes and are barefoot, you'll notice that there seems to be some kind of pulsating red veins on the other side that are just expanding from them and just reaching out into the earth and just going off into the distance.
I'm just debating what my character knowledge versus my knowledge. My character is sort of new. Can I do an similar to what Kate did?
You
An
can
academic.
you can
Yeah.
do an intelligence plus occult,
Yep.
and you definitely can use your specialty.
Yeah. So
Like I
specialty.
said.
What's that do again for the roll?
You add an additional dice.
Additional summit.
Like I said, it's only paranoia if it's not true.
1, 2, 3. Ooh, hunger dice got a 1.
That's fine. That's only if you outright fail the test.
Yeah. 1, 2, 3 successes.
3 successes. What exactly were you trying to figure out?
So the
Like
Bahari,
what they're doing?
what they're doing, and a little more knowledge for the Bahari and how this connects to them.
Okay. The Bahari, they're known to practice some pretty strange magic, some pretty strange necromancy and blood sorcery combinations. And this power specifically that you can see with a 3, you've heard that they may be able to actually gain sustenance from the earth itself.
Carter's definitely intrigued.
So you're pretty sure, you're not 100%, but you're pretty sure that these 3 women are feeding while they're in this church.
I look at Cassidy and I say, Madam, I am impressed by your capabilities. And I look forward to having another conversation with you, but for now, I don't want to interrupt your evening any further.
Cade wholeheartedly agrees and gets up and begins meandering out of here.
Do you really meander? Or do you friggin' make it full speed out?
No. I'm composed.
I'm going right. I'll go with you. I wait till Carter goes to exit, and then I will exit behind both of you.
Can I provide Cassidy my number or something like that, contact information?
She tells you that when it's time for you two to talk again, she will find you.
I tell her I look forward to it. I wink at her and I leave.
Can I get one more wits plus aspects from you as you're leaving, since you've already succeeded fairly well?
Wits plus aspects.
Yes.
It's 2 and 1, so I'm not the best here. Ooh, nice. 3 successes.
3 successes. As you are starting to walk away, you will notice that one of the wraiths that are sitting in the pews gets up and starts following you.
Ah, shit.
I'm behind him, so I want to give. Do I notice that too?
Unfortunately, not. You don't have sense the unseen.
Oh, okay. This is all right. So I'm between him and whatever
Mm-hmm.
is following.
Very much like in my game, Carol.
Any indication of if this thing is its inclination towards me or
You don't
motive?
know.
No.
You don't know if it has any inclination towards you. You just see that one of the wraiths, as you're walking out, gets up and walks out too. If you stop to look at it, it continues to walk and just goes straight through the door.
We exit the church, and I'm assuming that Cassidy and Eloise and the other lady haven't reacted in any way to this.
As you're walking out, you'll notice that their whispered chants restart, and they just go right back to what they were doing before you arrived.
They're just continuing their feeding. As we exit the church, I say to Darby and Carol, sorry, to Darby and Cade, I don't want to alert anyone, but we have a new companion with us at the moment.
What does that mean? Where? And I'm like looking around, So that something needs to get punched?
So, Kate, let us exit this place first and determine if that is still the case.
Okay.
So what was that?
I said, let us exit this place first, completely, and still determine if that is the case.
So as we head back to the car, is the wraith still following us?
Outside, you are going to have to do an active check, which would be resolve plus aspects versus the wraith. If it is
Resolve it.
still
Better.
trying.
May I also look around at this point?
You can.
And do I still suffer the 2 dice penalty once we are out of the area?
You have to leave the gardens.
Okay.
So it's basically for the scene. I
That's
got
not
4
bad.
successes. What does everybody else have?
3.
2.
Wait, hang on.
You guys don't.
I didn't realize
really...
I was. Sorry, I didn't realize I was rolling. I'm rolling on this one.
No, it was just those who
Okay.
have sense the unseen.
Oh yeah, of course, because I never.
You
Gotta
don't
have those special eyes.
You don't notice that wraith, but it's really hard to tell one wraith from the other. And when you guys get outside and activate sense the unseen, there are hundreds of them.
And I
What the?
willpower.
Hmm.
Can I use a willpower reroll on the 3 dice?
Sure, I'll let you go ahead and do that.
Wow.
Roll well.
I'm glad I'm not seeing this. I'm glad I'm not sensing the unseen.
I think
with
that's only
that
2
many.
dice. You can only
There-
use it on 2 dice.
Oh right, yeah.
Yeah, on the
On the
not the failed
100 dice.
regular dice.
Yeah.
Yeah, when you look around, that's one
Ooh,
more
that's one
success.
extra. That's 4.
Yeah.
So that's 4. When you look around, it's like a forest of the dead, just all standing facing that church.
Oof.
The reason why you're able to pick out the one wraith is that it's not just mindlessly staring at the church.
All
It's
right.
it's standing closer to you all and seems to be paying attention, even though it also seems to be like hiding behind a tree,
Hiding behind a tree.
like trying not to be noticed.
All right. I just note a motion towards Cade and Darby and say, we seem to have picked up a straggler from the church. I don't want to alarm you, but it seems one of the dearly departed in this area has taken interest in us, but is not looking to reveal themselves too readily.
Are you sure they weren't sent as a tail?
I don't know what particular they're looking for, but there's no harm in asking.
But you can ask. I can't see them. I guess you there's something there.
I cautiously approach the tree that they're hiding behind. I'm not trying to hide myself. I'm almost sheepishly going, "Hello there."
It almost seems shocked that you noticed it and tries to hide even more behind the tree, like ducks behind the tree.
Hello there behind the tree. My name's Carter. I don't mean you any harm. I'm just wondering why you might be interested in us.
Do you have any way to actually speak with it?
Summon spirit, but that's not really what we're doing here. Then I would say no.
Yeah.
I say the words anyways, not realizing it's probably not coming back to anything yet.
It sticks its head
Extend
out
my
from behind the tree, paying more attention to you.
I'm just going to extend my hands, or put both hands, just rather passively, as if I'm saying I'm okay. And I just bend at the knee, get like bend down, almost to a squat position, to make myself seem smaller and more safe, as if you're approaching an animal or a cat or something like that.
It comes out from behind the tree and kind of Cade can probably see this. It circles around him. It circles around Carter.
Mm-hmm.
I
And
let it
then
circle around.
and then at first what it looks like it does is it looks like it kind of crouches down itself, spreads its arms upwards like it was trying to imitate some kind of giant bird, and then out like the shadows gather around it, almost similar to like La Sombra Oblivion style powers. But it reaches its arms out and they become these massive shadow wings, and it just takes off into the air and then disappears.
Okay.
Carter, being so close, can actually feel the rush of wind as it flaps its shadow wings and flies off.
Cade just looks like, I think we should go. And he turns and continues leaving.
Carter is just happy at this turn of events. I was like, what an interesting night.
Oh my lord.
Cade will stop, turn back, look at him for a moment, not say anything, then turn and keep going.
I'm gonna. I'm technically tasked with keeping an eye on Cade, so I look at Car. I go, "Come on, we need to go," and I'm gonna keep following Cade.
So I take it you all get back in the car and you're driving somewhere else, correct?
Yes.
That's right.
Whereabouts are you headed?
I'm going to ask where Carter wishes to be dropped off.
Well, we're probably getting close to sunrise, so I should head to my abode, which is going to be adjacent the cemetery.
I will drop you off somewhere nearby that.
All right.
And as I so on the drive back, Cade will give a little bit of chat. I don't want to take too much time, but you said this was a very interesting night. You're not wrong. Though I must admit, this is going down a deeper rabbit hole than I would have expected. And to be honest, I'm afraid of what's in the hole. You stole something that apparently has upset two individuals or groups. You've also stacked up a few favors this evening. I'm not sure how much more worth this investigation will be if it indentures you or causes you physical harm. And to be honest, I do not want to be caught in the crossfire of it myself.
Me neither.
As Cade's talking, though, Darby is going to notice something because
Oh, I am.
Darby has spent more time in the Anarchs than Cade has.
Yeah.
And with everything that's going on, you're starting to put things together. And with Cade talking about upsetting people and with the things that Cassidy said inside, you know that the ministry belongs to the Anarchs.
Does that mean I get to thunk Carter's head in? Take the thing back?
I mean, it seems like they've stolen something directly from the ministry, but...
Oh, see, this is why I wish I could have made that inside check at the very beginning to know if he was pissed off or not, or suspected us. Because that's, the Baron. Oh boy, this is going to be
the Baron knows
fucking...
that you and I were there. He doesn't know about Carter per se.
Yeah, but this is going to get messy.
So
I don't say shit. That's what I say nothing. I just process all this and think I'm going to have to be punching people at some point.
Professor, are you suggesting that we return the scales?
Cade actually considers that for a moment. I'm not sure if that will really alleviate the issue at this point. What is done is done. And again, I am curious myself to see what would happen. Though, I don't know if the investment is worth the payoff.
Well, I mean, I get the feeling this is a really powerful item, so it might be actually worth finding out.
My only concern is at this point is we need to be delicate in how we address and speak about it from now on. We've already allowed several individuals to know that what transpired. We don't know what their motivations and their agendas are. They could easily set the whole group upon any of us at this point.
Point taken. But you do still want to play with the scales, don't you?
I'd like to know what they do.
Yeah, me too.
That's mostly my curiosity, though I do need to get back to my own research soon as well.
Well, I guess you piss somebody off then, There'll be heads to punch. I guess I won't be totally unhappy with that.
So I have a question for Carter.
Okay.
There are many cemeteries around Athens. Are there any specifics you would be looking for?
Basically, I'm looking for somewhere that has either a crypt or even just a groundskeeping house that might not be used frequently that I can use. I have to keep my deceased retainer with me.
Okay.
So I'm looking for as much discretion and quiet out of the way as possible, even if it isn't the nicest or most comfortable thing.
Okay. Well, we'll go ahead and say that Mad Jack went ahead and pulled some strings when you were coming to Athens and hooked you up with a place in Matthews Cemetery,
Okay.
which is towards the north, and it's just out of town when it comes to Athens. It's also one of the closest ones that isn't a pet cemetery. So,
As Cade is pulling over and going to drop off Carter, he will kind of stop as he will kind of like wave him as he's getting out. It says, as a note, I don't know exactly where you reside at night or what your hobbies are aside from your interest in the living the dead, but another option for obtaining a heart is, of course, a graveyard.
Thought about that. Except most times the hearts and the internal organs are the first to go.
People are being buried every day, and probably less security than a facility that houses and stores it for students.
You're
And
probably right.
probably also requires less of a paid off individual. Or you could just slip an undertaker some money, I guess.
I think I could obtain one, perhaps from the recently deceased, without raising too many alarms.
True. I doubt a body that's about to be buried will be missing it that much. At least I would think the cemetery doesn't keep an inventory of hearts.
All right, then. Until tomorrow night.
Tomorrow night, then.
Tomorrow night.
And I exit the vehicle with my fun scales in my back and my luggage.
I just see you walking around with one of those suitcases on wheels with the little handle, just dragging it behind
That's,
you.
that's what I'm envisioning.
Yeah.
It's one of those wide set ones, too, because it's
Yeah.
2 feet wide.
Yeah.
I just kind of like adjust my mirror as I watch him walk away as I pull out, and I just look at and I just kind of look in the rear view at Darby. This could get very dangerous very quickly.
I mean, I may not know a lot about the politics between clans and such. I haven't been, part of this that long. But even I get a sense that this is bad news. Right from that phone call, too.
I don't even think you need to know much about the politics. The fact that this Cassidy was able to say almost immediately that 2 groups or individuals were already upset about a theft that happened just last night speaks that somebody is expressing their discontent.
And she said that the anarchs, right?
Does seem
Are
that
one of
way.
the parties. Well, my boss is the Baron, and
I'm
he knew
aware.
about the theft. He told me
I'm aware.
basically to stay out of trouble.
Really?
Yeah. I
Well,
don't
he
think
did. He was aware that we went there that night. So
he was. I could not read him. Again, that's not really a strong thing of mine. But I could not really read him to figure out if he suspected we took it or not. So I don't know. We may have to make a choice,
it's true.
would be my thought. We may have to give it back to him. Sorry, we may have to give it back to him.
I will tell you my stance is with the Anarchs. I have other goals in mind, and I wish to keep them going. I don't have enough power to defend myself completely. Hence why you are here.
Glad to be here.
Well, we'll just have to keep this in mind. See where this leads for now.
And I'll watch my back and your
I will
back.
watch yours. I will watch yours as well. I do not
And
wish to see you injured or harmed for
I'm
deeds
pretty
that were not
tough.
planned out by you.
I'm tough, though. I can take it.
There are other ways to harm somebody.
Oh, well, I guess that's true.
With that, I will drive back. I will keep an eye out just to see if I see any weird, shadowy things following us.
So, Cade and Darby drive to wherever they're going. I'm assuming Cade will be dropping Darby back off at the bar. And
Yes, that or the college so she could take her ride back.
Cade heading home. With Carter walking towards his haven at Matthews Cemetery. The only thing that Carter picks up on as he's walking alone, dragging his luggage, is the shadow of what seems like a massive bird flying over him. But when he looks up, he doesn't see anything. And that is where I'm going to call post for tonight.